Two Guys on Mic, sponsored by Jim and Tin Sports and W Sports Drink. I am joined with Tony and Mike right below me. If you are new to the show, we are missing a guy. And the one thing we do is if you do not show up to this podcast, we will make fun of you. Over here, this picture right here is a picture that we did burying Matt's balls when he got married. He has no more ball sack. That's a little funeral we had. We even took the stone grave and we put it up at the wedding before everyone else showed up. So when everyone walked in,
front and center,
it was just sitting on the table.
Damn.
Yeah. So, anyways, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe below. It will really help us out if you were to do that. So today's show, what we're going to go ahead and do, we've each chosen a game that we want to kind of talk about that we felt had significant impact on this week. I am going over, I thought I wanted to talk about the New England Buffalo game. Tony's going to be jumping into the Cleveland and Indy game. Mike, with his excited look right there, very sad. I don't know what's going on with the team, but Mike's decided to go ahead and talk about the Niner and Viking game, and we're going to touch a little bit on the Raider game and just some other things. And before we do get started on that, breaking news: Chris Olave has been arrested tonight for reckless driving. According to the report, he was only going 35 miles an hour over the speed limit, which is, I don't know, unless the speed limit was 75.
Hey,
could have been in a school zone.
He could have been doing 60 in a 25.
Yeah, that is
which I often do not do. I mean, legally, I said do not do.
Yeah, but yeah, So I'm not 100% sure.
He did not resist, so he was cooperative. So I don't know what really is going to come out of it, but it is going to be something kind of
the reason
keep an eye on.
Yeah, there's a reason they didn't put the freaking miles per hour in there, because it was like, it's not a big story. Watch when we finally get the actual story, it's going to fizzle. So,
yeah. What do you guys want to start, or do you guys want me to start this thing off?
I'll start.
All right, Tony.
I don't know when I'll start. Well, I'll start the Browns-Colts game. For me, it was the game of the week, more so than the Miami and Philly game, only because this game was exciting, man. This is what you want: high scoring, bloodbath, going back and forth at each other. And I think what excited me the most about this game is the fact that it proved they don't need Anthony Richardson. I think Gardner Minshew played like he used to. And he really showed up to support this team. Obviously, he had his woes where they had the strip sack in the end zone, and they had some penalties on the defensive side that I think were questionable. I think a lot of people thought they were questionable, like at the very end of the game, that lost them the game. I think they should have won this game. The Browns necessarily didn't play like phenomenally, but they played well enough to win them the game. The refs helped them out there at the end, but it also showed that Deshaun Watson is completely done. Is like over. I mean, he got hurt in the beginning of the end of the first quarter, and he still only threw for 5 yards at the end of the first quarter.
He only had 5 pass attempts.
Yeah, and so I feel like Deshaun Watson's, I think his career is over, man. He is washed up, never going to be anything.
Massaged up.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like he's never going to meet his true potential. I think he's completely done being out that whole year, just the suspension and just life took him consumed him. But this entire game was just like awesome to watch. You see Jonathan Taylor back in action, Josh Downs completely dominating that receiving core, Pittman going off. I think like this was the Colts that we thought Anthony Richardson could make them in the beginning, when Anthony Richardson was kind of doing better than we all thought. But I think Anthony Richardson is his own demise. He should have taken Trevor Lawrence's advice in the very beginning of the season: don't sacrifice yourself. Now Gardner Minshew is playing well, taking this team to 38 points against the Browns, where not even the Niners could do that. I mean, it was a great game to watch. And I think overall, this was my game of the week.
Yeah, well, no one's done that against the Browns defense. They were number one scoring defense going into that game.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, I got to watch a little bit of that game. That nice Pittman 70-yard touchdown that they had was just really poor tackling on Cleveland. But the fact is that some of these throws that Minshew is making, they didn't have with Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand, like, I don't mean to like talk down on Richardson or anything like that. I think he's going to have a great career in the NFL. But this just goes to show that the Colts do have a team ready to compete right now. Now, I don't know if they're really ready to win anything, but they're good enough right now that they can compete with most teams in the NFL, and they could possibly be a playoff team. But it's going to come down to quarterback play. And Minshew played really well. This is why I said as soon as Rodgers got hurt, Minshew was the guy that I threw out there immediately that the Jets should go out there and get. Now that's not going to end up happening. I also said they should go out and trade for Kirk Cousins. And after the performance he had tonight, you can exactly see why I would say that he could take him. Now, I know you and Matt argued that, hey, well, what about when Aaron Rodgers comes back? How about you don't take the chance with Rodgers re-injuring, coming back soon?
The same turf that fucked him up.
Yeah,
exactly. So I just think that this game was game of the week as far as the closeness of the game, the physicality of the game. I like what you were saying. Everyone was expecting to be the Philly Miami game. I called this last podcast, the one that dropped on Saturday. You can go back and check my predictions. I got the 3 games that we talked about, all of them right. And one I said, if Philadelphia stops the run game for
Miami,
is game over. They scored 10 points. Now the scoreboard says 17, but they had to pick 6.
Yeah.
That and at one point, Mostert had like negatives. I think he was negative for a while. Then at one point he was like, I think 8 rushes for 8 yards. So I don't mean to divert from the Cleveland and Indy game, but I just wanted to kind of talk about that. I said Miami is not the same team on the road, and they're not the same team when they play a defense that can hold them. And exactly what happened: 20 points against Buffalo, 17 against Philadelphia. And I just think that Miami is going to end up just being one of those really fun teams to watch, but not a team that can go out there and actually win a Super Bowl like people were saying at the beginning. So, Mike, you got anything you want to add to?
One thing I'm keeping an eye on is that running back situation in Indy. It's been basically an even carries last 2 weeks. They both had 18 this week. Last week, Zach Moss had 7 and Jonathan Taylor had 8. So are they kind of easing Taylor into it and keeping some of that workload from him? Or has Zach Moss proven, through the beginning of the season that he's going to be involved a lot more?
I got a take on that, and I think it just goes down to, I think if you have 2 guys that both have a hot hand, why not use them both?
Yeah.
The NFL is a long season. It's especially for a running back. It's brutal on your body, and I think if you can keep touches down on players and still be really effective, I think that does better for your offense than you just drive one guy week in and week out.
Yeah, if you're giving a guy 23, 24 carries a week, and you got another guy that is capable, but you're not using him, you're not doing your team any good over the long haul.
Yep. No, exactly. And that's the same thing with Cleveland. Now, they lost Jerome Ford, in the first half, right?
Yeah, and I saw an update earlier. They're saying I think he's out 1 to 2 weeks.
Dude, he was going to have himself a game.
Yeah, he was.
He was like at 78 yards already before halftime.
Well, most of that came on that one touchdown, though, too. But
still,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. The point is that you would have had to make the Colts defense maybe play a little different. Now they still won, but it's just the fact that once you give up that long touchdown, it's going to be stuck in that back of that defense head, and they made it. So, but Kareem Hunt looks really, second week in a row, he has looked really good. So fantasy football, if he's still available in your league, which I doubt he is going to be, but if he's there, man, I'd put in that waiver for him. Mike, you want to go ahead? You want to go next? Do you want to jump into the 49er Viking game?
Yeah, I was busy yesterday. Didn't get really a chance to watch a whole lot of football, so that's part of the reason why I'm grabbing the game tonight. But I don't know. I mean, defense looked like shit today. They couldn't tackle, playing weak coverage. 452 total yards of offense for Minnesota. Addison goes off for 7 yards, 123, and 2 touchdowns without Justin Jefferson. With how they played tonight, I would have been afraid to see what would have happened if Jefferson would have played.
No, I agree.
It just, I don't know what it is. Last week, they had a chance to win it. Had a chance tonight as well. Last 2 back-to-back drives, and Purdy throws picks. You know, that especially that last drive. He's scrambling, he's running, he throws it, and I mean that was on him. But
and against a defense that's just like not been
the
best.
It's not the same defense that you saw the first 4 weeks of the of the season.
Yeah,
I don't think Niners even had a turnover on defense.
Nope,
they didn't have a sack. Cousins was not sacked either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's something I did want to kind of talk about. The Niners, they're getting pressure on quarterbacks. There's no sacks happening. And I've been noticing too, the last few weeks, we've been like the coverage has been really soft in the secondary. I would like to see them next week play a little bit more bump and run, especially with them against the Bengals. It's been proven if you can bump and run on Jamar Chase, you can slow him down a little bit. But when you give him that opportunity to juke you out when you're playing, 6-7 yards off at the snap, he's going to own you.
Yep.
But if you play some bump and run, double coverage him, people have had success shutting him down and hurting that Bengals offense. Just you saw it time in and time out today. Like just these 7, 8, 9 yard passes that where the defender was like 5-6 yards off, off the receiver, and you're just like, make the adjustment. Like someone has to somewhere down the line make the adjustment and be like, okay, what we're doing is not working. We're giving up all these third down conversions, big chunk yards off a pass over and over, bad timing on all these freaking pass interference calls, mainly holding.
That's what I was going to bring up right now. I take it back. Charvarius Ward did have an interception tonight, so Niners did have 1 turnover.
Yeah, in the very beginning.
The other one, that was the beginning of the game. The other one, though, right before halftime, it went through his hands, and Addison literally stripped it out of his arms and ran it in for that touchdown right before halftime.
Yeah,
but the timing of the penalties that Ward had and the plays that they happened on killed it. It allowed the drive to continue.
Talk about the McCaffrey fumble like that. That doesn't happen.
I missed that because I was on my way home from work.
So that doesn't happen, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. So the things I was going to talk about is that during the course of not just this game, but a lot of games, right? So this game could have been so many different ways. All right. We picked off Kirk Cousins right away, right? We get a turnover, and then we're driving. We're looking like we're going to score a touchdown. Then we fumble.
Like the 15, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like we were looking like we were going to immediately just.
You should have had the momentum behind you.
Then our next possession, we miss a field goal.
Yep.
And you just see it immediately, like, shit, it's going to be one of those games. And sure enough, it was. And Tony, I text you. I was like, that missed field goal, watch. It's going to hurt somewhere down the line. Now, I do understand Minnesota missed their field goals. We're not going to talk about that. I'm just talking about at the score of the game, what it was. If Moody had made his field goal, if he had done his job, right?
Niners are going for a field goal at the end.
20, and Purdy's not throwing the ball down the field and not getting picked off. There's just a lot of little things like that. All these stupid penalties. There's just a lot of things, and it could have just gone both ways. But at the end of the night, the Niners they got a couple things to figure out because back-to-back loss. And Purdy, too, as well. He goes 5 weeks without throwing an interception through one threw a costly one last week against the Browns. Those 2 fourth quarter interceptions that could have,
So do you think it gets in his head now? Like, do you think the interceptions from last week got in his head this week, and he's like, I'm trying to shake it off. The first interception led to the second interception.
I don't think so, because did you look at how he started the game?
Yeah, he was fine.
What was he, 5 for 5 for like 50 something yards or something like that?
Yeah.
To start the game. I don't think, and if that's something that Shanahan's afraid of, Shanahan's smart enough to dial up a couple of easy plays at the beginning of the game that are high completion rates just to get your confidence back.
Yeah.
I will say that I'm glad that Moody made that field goal instead of missing that one, because then that would have he would have been all screwed up in the head.
Yeah, and plus it was what it was 50.
I think it was a 50 yarder or 54 yarder.
Yeah, so the fact that Shanahan still had confidence in him instead of going for it on fourth down to do
55 yarder.
Yeah, to still go out there and let him attempt a 55-yard field goal just shows that Shanahan's not worried about the missed field goals. But to go back to what you were saying about the interceptions, Tony, the one thing, and it doesn't just matter for Brock Purdy, it matters for any quarterback in the NFL. When you're down like that at the very, very end of the game, and the defense knows they're dropping everyone back, and you're forcing balls that you normally wouldn't. I mean, how many times? Very, very, very end of the game, right?
Yeah.
They get interceptions at the end of the game in situations like that all the time. It's a tough stat on the quarterback because he is being asked to do a little something extra with extra coverage behind. It's kind of like asking like the running back to get 3 yards, on a third and goal, and everyone
with 9 guys on the line.
Yeah,
it's a difficult task, and
yeah,
it's not always gonna come out that way.
I'll say this much about this game: the Vikings won by 1 score.
Yeah,
only. So we'll see if they can carry that forward to the playoffs like they did last year.
You want to know what's really interesting about this game, though? So. I was watching a video about 30 minutes before the game, and a guy had said that all the highest betting games this week lost in the point spreads, all of them. And he goes, guess what the number one betted game on this week was?
This one.
He goes, take Minnesota +7.
Yeah, I was gonna say Niners were favored by 7.
Yep. Yep. It was very interesting to see.
This is why I hate living in California, bro.
And the over-under was 44.
I would be playing parlays left and right, man. I'd be rich.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to jump into the Buffalo-New England game. I just want to start off by congratulating Bill Belichick on his 300th win. That's a pretty nice feat in the NFL to be able to coach up 300 wins. The one guy I want to talk about, and I talked about it last week, is Josh Allen and his inconsistency.
They lost because of him.
Dude, the first pass he did was intercepted. And I'm not talking about like, oh, it was a bad throw or whatever. He completely this guy was just standing there as a linebacker, and he if he had floated it, he would have been fine. It could have been caught or maybe not, but he zipped it in there just right to the linebacker, and you're just like, what are you looking at? I think the Bills need another wideout outside of Diggs. Kincaid ended up being the top receiver. He was
8 for 75,
and Kincaid's out right now too.
You see, and Gabe Davis is not getting it done. He had one catch, I think it was. Yeah, one
catch. On 5 targets.
Yeah.
Trent Sherfield, ex-49er, pretty decent wide receiver. 1 catch, 5 yards.
I was wrong. I said Kincaid's out. Dawson Knox is the one's out with a wrist injury. He's going to have surgery on his wrist.
Now Knox is more of like a red zone threat. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen got outplayed by Mac Jones.
Yes, he did. At first, I was going to take Josh Allen as my at least you tried guy, but I changed it after.
But yeah, Mac Jones was 25 of 30 for 272, 2 touchdowns. He did
against the Bills, bro.
Yep. Now both quarterbacks did a really good job spreading the ball around. Each of them hit nine different wide receivers, or 9 different targets, I should say, caught a pass. Both teams though went away from the run. Both teams had 24 attempts. I know some running backs that get 24 attempts by themselves.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think what they need to do, 2 things Buffalo needs to do. Number 1, I think they need to get another wide receiver. Number 2, they need to start running the ball. Stop. Like, I get it. Josh Allen's a good quarterback, but I'm starting to think that maybe now he's not that guy that you should just. He's going to throw on that backpack and just carry you every single week in and week out. He has the capability of it, and he's gonna do it. But he had 41 pass attempts. He was 27 for 41, threw another ugly ass interception. Now he was fine the rest of the game, but it's just starting the game off like that. Your second play of the day, you're throwing an interception. It just sets a certain tone.
Yeah.
And felt that he never got into a full rhythm after that. In fact, he got lucky. Stephon Diggs scored the touchdown that he did. Like it was almost like
the one. It was a sliding catch.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he slides, catches it, bounces up, easy tackle. 2 guys missed him, and he gets in. So they even got lucky to even score that touchdown. They went for it on 4th down when they could have kicked a field goal. Now it didn't matter; they lost by 4. But it's just the fact that depending on what the score of the game at the time is, it can also make the other team do some different things.
And we've seen the New England Patriots do some different things at the end of the game.
Yeah, and I've always said it. I'm a huge fan of taking points when you have points. It's like what you say. It's like what do the people say about the quarterback? Sometimes you have to just take what the defense is giving you. And that's what the defense was giving you. 3 points. Take it.
Yeah.
They also had a missed field goal. Right there.
So this is
field goal, and a field goal you didn't attempt is 6 points. Guess what? You lost by 4. You could have won.
But this is why the Bills won't win the Super Bowl. They don't have that it factor, or they don't have that knowledge. I don't necessarily know it's the knowledge. I mean, their coaching staff can get them to the playoffs, but they just can't finish. Or when they play teams that are more elite than the freaking Patriots, they can't seem to get it together. They're not on the same wavelength when it matters. And I think the Bills just, I don't know.
I said it last week. I said they play either up to the caliber of the team that they're playing, if they're playing a good team, or they play down low to the low caliber teams.
They're going in between.
Yeah, no, you know what, Mike, you're right, and that probably comes. And that's exactly why they're always inconsistent. You just don't know what Bills team is going to show up. Is it the one that people pick at the beginning of the year to win the Super Bowl, or is it the team that you're like, what? Like you guys
barely beats the team that barely beats the Giants and loses to the Patriots.
Yeah,
they're lucky.
I would have lost my parlay.
Yeah. Imagine if they hadn't come back. Imagine if they had lost last week to the Giants and then lost this week to New England.
Bad.
I was talking to somebody today that lost their survival at their work because they chose the Bills to win this game.
Ooh.
And it's not like the survival that we do. I mean, you can pick one team to win a game, and you can only pick that one team for the entire season.
No, I understand. I know.
Yeah, this is good.
But yeah,
I know that one.
So I want to move on to the Raider game, and the reason I want to move on to this game mainly is because I think after this week, the decision that Mike McDaniels made at quarterback is the main reason why not only have Raider fans been saying he needs to be fired, now you got people like myself that's not a fan of the team is saying like, dude, yeah, this dude needs to go. The fact that he started Brian Hoyer over O'Connell was just when has anyone said, oh yeah, we should be starting Brian Hoyer?
Yep. It's embarrassing, dude. Like, I'm embarrassed to wear this hat right now. And I can't defend anything at this point. I couldn't defend anything all season. McDaniels needs to go, bottom line. I think when you look at like what people are saying on X, like everyone is in the Raider fan base is saying he's got to go. They're even now like hashtagging boycott Raiders. Like they're trying to say don't go to games, don't support them. Like just because you have to kind of force Mark Davis to make that decision. I mean, I'm on the next level. Like get Mark Davis out of there, or at least get him out of the mat, like coaching room. Like he is not picking the right people. He's not his dad, no matter what. He is not going to live up to his dad's legacy, and he cannot pick the right people that need to be in the coaching room, or even in the I forgot what they fucking call it, the general manager and stuff. That's a word. I was going to say what I use at my work. Front office. There we go. Like he's not. He can't seem to find like the team that can win games. And like, yeah, we went to the playoffs like maybe twice in the past 10 years. It's just, I don't know. It's not something I think. I'm not happy about it. Nobody's happy. You have players that are vocally and visibly frustrated. I mean, Marcus Peters being like, I'm not going to get that tackle. Let it go right past him. That everyone's like, oh, he's like, screw Marcus Peters. I'm like, nah, bro. Let him do what he's got to do. He's not gonna. Why is he going to sacrifice himself for a coach? I don't give a. Like, no. It's very evident that Josh McDaniels has lost this locker room, period.
And once that happens, you have no choice. You have to move on. Yep. The other thing, my buddy Brock was telling me too, I didn't know this about O'Connell. He's from Illinois, and I guess he played high school 30 minutes from the stadium, and he was saying like,
why not let the kid play?
Yeah, McDaniels almost spit in his face like by not starting him, and then O'Connell comes in, 10 of 13, 75 yards and a touchdown. He did throw an interception.
In like 9 minutes.
Yeah, in half a quarter. All right, Brian Hoyer, 17 of 32. This dude was like almost 50% for $129 and 2 interceptions. Like, what the hell? Like,
and it's not like Tyson Bagent like did phenomenally, right? He had 162 yards and 1 TD. It was really the running back crew that kind of carried them. So I feel like if AOC played, we would have won this game. He would have went in. Like, it's a hometown game for him, even though he's playing an away game. So I don't know. It was ridiculous. It's devastating to watch. I can't do anything the rest of the season.
Here's the other thing about this is that, do you know how much confidence he could have killed in O'Connell just by not playing him? Now, he ended up playing well. I understand that, but why would you not bring in this young kid, let him start? What if he goes out there and plays amazing and just sparks this team?
But then it makes McDaniels look bad because we know McDaniels didn't make that choice. So after he says like Brian Hoyer is a starter, let's say Hoyer went down in the first quarter, right? And O'Connell comes in, balls out, and wins the game. McDaniels still wouldn't be happy because it wasn't his choice. Well, that's the sad thing about McDaniels. He's so high on himself for nothing. He thinks like anybody that calls McDaniels an offensive guru knows nothing about the game of football. That guy's an idiot.
But I do want to congratulate Tyson Bagent, the undrafted rookie that ended up starting for the Bears. Comes out and wins his first NFL start and looked pretty good doing so. I know people are going to be like, man, it was against the Raiders. Dude, it doesn't matter, man. This is the NFL.
Yeah.
And he's undrafted to come out and do that. Congratulations to him. Good job for him. So,
Wait, question, Tony, does Mark Davis have anything to do with Las Vegas Aces?
I don't even know that. I'm reading reports like he owns that team too.
Dude, he's more worried about partying with them out on the court after they win their championship than worried about the NFL team that gets him all his money.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I just don't get it. So this is just like, it adds more fuel to the fire that Mark Davis shouldn't be involved in the hiring of coaches whatsoever. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. His focus is elsewhere. He's more worried about freaking cocaine and hookers and the Las Vegas Aces now, apparently, and rather than the Raiders who makes his money. It's just that simple.
And can we get him a normal haircut?
That'll never happen. That's his bread and butter.
You guys got anything else you guys want to add for the week before we jump into this last segment?
Raiders have a long season, and I'm not going to watch another game.
Yeah, okay.
Until next week.
Yeah.
Shut up. You guys don't know my life. You guys know me. I'll be there.
Time for our favorite segment is At Least You Tried. This is where we pick one player in the NFL or a team if we decide to. And basically we make fun of them for shitting the bed when they shouldn't have. My choice this week, Jordan Love. 21-31, 180 yards, 2 TDs, and an interception against probably the worst defense in the NFL. You are already losing the fan base, and it's only the end of week 7.
Mm-hmm.
You had 58 yards in the first half. This was a get-right game. You should have just owned it. You didn't, but thank you for at least trying, good sir.
Blows my mind, man. He's. I think Jordan Love. This is what I talked about in the preseason. It's like, man, we got to see what we have in this kid. And the first few games, we're like, okay. I think by week 3, we were like, oh man, he might be it. I think people were saying he might be it. Like he's getting the hang of things. He's
gone off that fucking Russell Wilson cliff.
Yeah, dude. Oh, so bad.
Him and Russell Wilson grabbed hands at each other and said, let's do this, and just jump up.
And they went frolicking through the field.
Wow.
Like, dude,
Tony, who you got, man?
Oh, Mr. Derek Carr. That man is
typical
so bad.
Raider fan.
Yeah, it has to. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't get it. The guy plays, and he gets above 300 yards again. He plays. He has 353 yards last week against the Texans. 301 yards this week against the Jacksonville. Everything about that game was why Derek Carr is not elite. Check down king. He misses wide open receivers. Now there was a first time that I had seen him get mad at a receiver for something that he clearly did. He was going off at Olave the ball was uncatchable. Like, it was like completely uncatchable, and he was going off. Like, now you have Saints fans that are pissed off at Derek Carr. Like, even Jameis Winston is pissed at Derek Carr on the sidelines. Like, I watched a clip where you just see Winston going off at Carr, and Carr's just straight up ignoring him, trying to look at the playbook with the coach or whatever. And Winston's like looking at him like, you fucking missed a wide open play, bro. You wide open. Like, Winston saw it from the sidelines. And I feel like Carr, something's wrong with him, like spiritually, mentally. I don't know, because the guy's a godly man, right? I don't know if leaving the Raiders fucked him up somehow. Like, it didn't sit right with him. The man is not right with himself, because something's going wrong with him to be that angry on the Saints. I just feel like this man, he at least you tried, but it's not good enough because you ain't winning games. That's what happened with the Raiders. You weren't winning games. I mean, he pushed Olave to get arrested today. So it's like, I mean, he did the same thing with Henry Ruggs. So it's like,
oh no!
Wow. Hey, are they speeding, trying to get away from him?
I don't know, man. Trying to find
was it Olave that he was ripping his ass because Carr threw the ball like 6 or 7 yards out of bounds, and Olave didn't finish the route on an uncatchable ball?
Yes, that's it. And Carr was mad. Like, even people watching the TV were like, "What the fuck are you mad, bro?"
The way Carr was like, "Did you have that rocket up your ass that I told you to put before the game?"
Hey, he's all, yeah, it was Tony's rocket.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. Well, hey, at least he tried, though, right? Mike, you're up.
Ridiculous, bro.
I actually was going to go with an individual player, but I'm going to change it more towards the team of how they handled the situation with Bijan Robinson.
Yeah. Pretty bad.
Reports came out. Everybody was wondering. I know we were all texting each other. Is Bijan even playing? What's up with Bijan? Because there was no announcements regarding him whatsoever before the game. The report came out during the game that he just wasn't feeling well. And I guess as it went on, they were saying he was dealing with headaches. And that actually all started, from what the reports are saying, Saturday. So mine more so is about the handling of how the Falcons did it, because now they're under investigations from the NFL for not disclosing a potential injury.
Well, you know why they do that, right? Because it has a lot to do with Las Vegas betting. Because people need to know the games that they're betting on. They need to know the players that are active, inactive. That's why it's 90 minutes prior to the game. This isn't just that NFL has these rules. This is all set up also towards Vegas, towards bettors. Think about how parlays got completely wrecked because they were on. You're talking about millions and millions of dollars on the line. So the fact
how many of our fantasy teams got fucked because he got you one rush for 3 yards?
Yeah. And if you want to add in fantasy football with all the money that he's legally transferred in fantasy football, we can go there too. But and here's the thing. Oh, he had a headache. Oh, his tummy hurts. You fucking suck that shit up. You are an NFL player being paid millions of dollars. Dude, do you think I wake up in the morning and I call my work, I'm getting a little headache. Oh, my tummy's not feeling too well. They're going to be like, okay, see you in an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take a shit, get it out of your system, and get your ass to work.
Yeah, unless he had maybe they were speculating it was COVID or something like that. But he played. He did play. He had one rush for 3 yards at the end of the game. Might I add, it wasn't at the beginning. Wasn't in the middle. It was at the end of the game. They just threw him out there and said, "Okay, well, I mean, if you shit your pants, whatever, just
let's try to make it look like you were not sick."
Yeah. So I'm Mike. I actually like that one because I am interested to see what the
And what sucks, because I was gonna go off of exactly what you said, Scott. It has 100% to do with Vegas and the betting system, because a lot of people lost a lot of money because of this situation, and it sucks because all that's going to happen is that the Falcons are going to get fined or some bullshit, but it doesn't help the people who lost millions of dollars because they just got fucked, and it sucks, man. It really does suck for everyone that I would have lost money.
Yeah, well, think about it like this: there are some people who live 100% based off the NFL betting season. That is their
income.
Job. Yeah, they don't have a regular job.
Yeah.
I'm talking about FanDuel and stuff like that, where people are playing for tens of thousands of dollars at a time, or they're putting up $10,000 to enter a lineup into something, and for something maybe they pick Bijan and then he doesn't play, and you're it's just there's just a lot to it, and I think the Falcons really.
I don't even think Bijan had a questionable tag either.
No, he didn't.
It's what? That's really bad.
He had zero designation. No questionable, no doubtful, no nothing.
Yeah, I just don't think the consequences are going to be as severe as we want them to. So. Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and pick Matt's player. We're going to pick his balls.
I was going to say something very bad, but I'm not going to, and I will tell you what it is after we end this podcast.
All right. But anyways, that's going to conclude this week 7 recap of Two Guys on the Mic. As usual, we're trying to do better next week. Hopefully all 4 of us will be here. We do record on Monday, so this drops on Tuesday, the day after, and then we always record not always, but we just started recording on Fridays, and so on Saturdays we do preview what we think are going to be games of the week. Again, you can listen to me. I got all 3 right down to the T. I know what I'm talking about. These guys are just...
I'm 0 for 3. I'll catch up.
Yeah, they're just here for looks. Don't worry.
I missed that one. I was too busy with my big gulp.
Gulping something else down.
So anyways, please, if you enjoyed the show, please give us a subscribe. Even if you didn't enjoy the show, please give us a subscribe. And so with that said, we will see everyone hopefully on Saturday. Adios.
Does Matt have anything to add before we leave?
No, he's dead. What are you talking about?
He's a bitch.
Wow.
He's just going to vote Democrat, but all right. See you guys.